Hey everyone, welcome back. So we are just about to go up into the early modern as the Ming, and just wrapped up this era as the English. We had a pretty good era, honestly. Like, if we look back at these era stars, I got most of them. I didn't 3-star everything, but honestly, like, overall, 19 out of the 21 stars is pretty good for any era. It's just a bit of a slower game. I'd normally be in the early modern before turn 137, but, being a little rusty, I think it makes sense. I'm a little behind normal. Now, we did have a very productive couple wars against the blue player here after a little bit of sketchiness at the start since they were ahead in tech. Now, between the last episode and this episode, I did do a couple things. So, like, I think I bought a harbor in here with influence and rearranged some production queues in a couple cities. So if there are some discrepancies there, that's why. But nothing major, I don't think. Nothing that is going to throw anyone off. And we did discover the New World as well with this cog. So I think we have a pretty straight shot, and that's going to be a priority for us going into the next era here. So here we are in the early modern, and again, we did pick the Ming. And we're starting with a few era stars here. So we'll want to get these grand tea houses out pretty quickly. They are very good districts. Not as good as they used to be, since there were... So it used to be that the grand tea house would give you influence for every district in the city. It's now based on adjacency. So a little bit different than it used to be, but still a pretty good district overall. And I'm actually going to just buy that research quarter, going to buy the stronghold to help on my food here. And then I'm actually going to deprioritize science to start getting these tea houses out, because I do want the influence that they generate so I can start getting my era stars. And then we are going to go straight into patronage to start getting luxury manufactories, and then come back for 3-masted ship for colony plan and naval transport so we can start sending people across the seas. Obviously, very important to colonize the New World in any game where that's an option. Okay, Machu Picchu's been taken already, and looks like that's a combo that... Oh no, that's a different culture. Okay, I thought they comboed it with Angkor Wat, which would have been interesting. Okay, so St. Basil's is still available. That's not important. I already have Notre Dame, so that's doubling down on faith without any other thing that synergizes with faith is not really useful. The Angkor Wat's already been claimed, and that's the main one. So it's really between Taj Mahal or Topkapi Palace. So I do like Taj Mahal a lot. Plus 50% money on settled city is a ton of money. But you have to be at that 90% stability. So there's a trade-off there, right? So Topkapi is pretty much always useful with the extra production towards shared projects, and that includes wonders as well as some of those like late game space projects, right? And other things like the satellites and some of the nuclear stuff. I do think Taj Mahal is generally a better option, but I have had some struggles with stability this game. That being said, I did pick the Ming, right? So I'm going to get some benefits to my stability from the tea houses here. So I think it may be beneficial for me to prioritize the Taj Mahal. Not losing a ton of value on this tile. So it is a river, which kind of sucks. I don't like building this on a river. Why did I get so much stability there? Oh, it's because we're replacing a farmer's quarter. I don't think that makes sense. I need the influence output, not more stability from replacing a farmer's quarter. So this will get buffed up. No. Sorry, I thought this was adjacent to this other one I was placing for some reason. I was not paying much attention there. I am building a district right there, though. So let's go ahead and drop this, that tea house in that spot there. Just want to get tea houses queued up everywhere I can. Now, obviously, you know, Ming not as good as they used to be, and I actually didn't realize that it had been changed when I picked this culture. I am still going to stick to it. I do think that was probably a good change, right? Much like the Teutons in the medieval, the outputs they generated were much too high considering, you know, where they came in the game. And it does make the Edo a little bit more of an interesting pick as well. Makes them more competitive on influence output. Why do I get... What's making me get food there? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, like some of these tooltips are still bugs. Like I shouldn't get food from putting that there. I mean, it could not be bugged. And it's really the outputs that are bugged. I don't really know. Anyway, okay, Unclaimed Wonder. So I think I do want to get Taj Mahal. I think I'm generating enough money it'll help propel me. I usually have enough production that the extra production you get towards the shared projects isn't that big of an issue. You can still produce them in a reasonable amount of time. I'm actually going to start working on... So I still have COVID, so I have a bit of a cough still, so I apologize. So I'm going to start working on the Taj Mahal right away, actually, because if I can get Topkapi Palace as well, I would like to do that. So we'll drop it kind of on the river here. Harappa's kind of low on stability at the moment, so I'm going to have that help. And you'll have some others start working on it here too. A little more coffee than usual, apparently. Okay, we'll let them finish the commodity market there. Now I do have these new cities down here that I haven't even touched yet for this episode. Let's see. I think right there is fine. That'll have another district coming up next to it, so a little bit more influence there than it first appears. And we'll let this finish the stronghold. Actually, you know what, I'm going to buy that out with pop. 3 pop isn't that big of a deal. And actually, it needs to work on the commons quarters, so we'll let it do that. And then down here, let's get the Taj Mahal. Let's go on expert policy, industry. This is Babylon, so they're going to have astronomy houses in here. So although they've built a bunch of market quarters for some reason, I'm still going to prioritize science in this city. There is fine. Minor production loss on that tile is fine. I get quite a bit of food from building a harbor in there if I want to. Okay, now in Athens. Sure. And right there looks just fine. And then let's get you working on the Taj Mahal. And if I'm able to claim Topkapi as well, I'm not going to build that right away. You know, if you could guarantee that you could get both of them, you would want to get Topkapi first, right? Because then the production you put towards the Taj Mahal is more efficient. You'd build it twice as fast, effectively. So, you know, if you could guarantee that you could get both wonders, you would get Topkapi first. So, you know, if I were the only person in the early modern era, then that's what I would have done. But given that someone else has already claimed a wonder, you know, I decided to claim Taj Mahal first. So I'm struggling with food a little bit in some of my cities. Right here was just because of overpopulation. Harappa, not as much. I'm just, you know, a little behind on my food production compared to my population. But at the same time, you know, all my important specialist slots are filled out, so that's not really that big of a deal. I might need to... I'm going to have to send an army down here because I'm going to start getting rebels in Londonia. So the reason the stability collapsed in that city is I absorbed this territory right here when it was still under the cultural influence of the other player. And it gave me that osmosis event to change one of my civics. I don't remember which one, but I absolutely did not want to change the civic. It would have been a terrible decision. So instead, I opted to let myself lose out on a bunch of stability for 10 turns, which sucks, but it is what it is. Just gonna buy that one. Still struggling with stability. What's my net stability here? Got my crappy 0-calorie sports drink because I need my electrolytes just like plants. Okay, so the grand tea houses are also going to provide stability, so I'm just going to let them keep going on those. I just have to wait out this minus 50 stability penalty. But thankfully it's not disrupting my building at all because those are the things that I wanted. Okay, so I don't want open-minded on my religious civics. I really like having this grievance right here. Like, yes, that +3 influence on territories is nice. You know, you can get a decent amount of influence from that because all of these, I think, or almost all of them are my religion. So, you know, you can get quite a bit of influence, but I think having that grievance is more valuable in a lot of the cases. Science investing is fine, but I lose that +5% industry, which I don't want. I'm still making use of that, so I'm going to reject. Alright, and just continue to explore the new world over here. That is going to be a priority for me as soon as I can get units over there. Let's see, if I worked on this, it does shave a turn off of it, so I'm going to do that, even though I'm still losing stability here. Alright, political entitlement. It is nice to have +1 CS on emblematic units. There is a point in the game at which that extra +1 CS becomes redundant, and I might be getting close to that point. And, you know, it depends on which culture you are, how valuable that actually is. As the Ming, not particularly useful. I do like having that +3 combat strength on militia, though. I actually find that to be quite handy. It basically brings them in line with equivalent era units, having that +3 CS. Now, since I'm looking at getting into the new world this era, I'm going to consider... Nice, I can claim another wonder. And let's grab Tutcappy as well. Very nice. Now, I'm not going to work on it right away. I have other stuff I need to do. I don't need to grow. That's just going to give me more farmers, which is pointless. So, we'll move that guy. Okay. So, everyone's working on grand tea houses. That being said, I do need more industry in here. So I'm going to get the Maker's Quarter first. I'm going to buy the Maker's Quarter I have in here. So everyone can get working on these grand tea houses in reasonable fashion. That Farmer's Quarter is really not important at all. Let's get another Maker's Quarter in here. I'd like to have like a minimum of about 500 industry in all my cities, I think, just so I can produce things in reasonable fashion. Now this Babylon, you know, is lacking a ton of stuff because the AI just did not build things that they needed to build in here. Harbor's not important at the moment. I'm still growing. We will work on that in the future. These two are pretty low production costs, so I'm going to finish those though. They're core infrastructure that I need to set that city up. Okay, let's grab this discovery. These discoveries can give you some pretty nice stuff sometimes. Oh, nice, I got a Karak. So I believe these don't take deep sea attrition, so I can explore a little bit more freely with that. Okay, I get patronage in 4 turns, which means I will really, really scale up my outputs here. Just going to leave all my armies kind of on the border with the yellow player there. It's really the only player I have to worry about at the moment. I will look to... I will look to declare war on blue again and take the rest of their cities, knock them out of the game, secure this continent. Not a priority at the moment. They're pretty much out of action. But it will be nice to get the obsidian and gemstone secured. Swift is nice, but again, I don't want to move in that direction. I'll take a new army, I guess. It's pretty cheap. I already know where the new world is, so funding that expedition doesn't help me. That, random... Okay, so I got some naval units. Not ideal, but it's alright. So that thing, I believe, if you fund it, it just... All it does is, like, reveals the position of the new world, which I already know. So it's not really helping me at all. I do need more industry in here. I'm still going to let this run on the Grand Tea Houses, because I do need to get these up if I want any chance of getting these Era Stars. Okay. I don't have an artisan workshop in here yet. And I am really behind on some of the infrastructure compared to where I should be. Oh, I don't think I can upgrade him. Right, I need almost 500. 485 for that upgrade. Right there's fine. The nice thing about right here with the Satrap's Palace is that you get some influence from adjacent tiles as well. Was I mistaken earlier? Did I say you don't get the influence per district? Have I built a tea house yet? I don't think I've completed one yet. I need to check something, because when I'm putting these down... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't think it's showing the outputs correctly. Okay, so I guess, I mean, I thought they had removed the +1 input per district for some reason, and it was just based on adjacency now. But I suppose I was mistaken there. That is... Anyway. Okay, got some people showing up. Okay, someone went in with the Edo-Japanese. A lot of resources down here. You know, I don't really need these guys over here. I'm going to have them actually come back and kind of come over this way, which will secure my border. Let's just put you on Auto Explorer. I really don't care if I lose that cog. The whole purpose of it was just to discover the new world, really. Okay, there's patronage. I'm gonna go ahead and just buy that tea house out. And then obviously we need manufactories. Okay, let's get the lead manufactory. Finish that maker's quarter. I'm gonna buy the manufactory. It doesn't really matter where I put them because I'm not building merchant quarters up here. I've noticed with Ambergris that there tends to only be like 1 or 2 on the entire map. It's pretty much how it is every single game, and I don't really know why. So do I want... The reason I didn't build this one in here, I wasn't sure if I want to concentrate stability all in one city for the manufactories. I'm looking around to see where else I might need stability. This is a really good spot because it's surrounded by these market quarters. which is going to give a bonus to those market quarters. So I'm definitely going to build that one there. For the gemstones, yeah, we'll put it here just for the stability. And coffee can go right there. Man, I guess talking is really affecting my cough here, which, I mean, I suppose makes sense. But I was not coughing this much earlier. Okay, gold. And what's this one? Papyrus. I think that's... yeah. There's only 2 papyruses on the... or I don't think it's papyrus is... I think it's just papyrus is the proper term there. I'm going to double up my manufactories here just for the high stability. And one reason for that is because I want to continue to focus this on generating more money. And since I have the Taj Mahal, maintaining high stability in this city is going to increase my outputs. I don't need to worry about that yet. It's not a super important tech. Or civic, I should say. God. So gold is just in Athens or in Kerma. I'm actually going to go for Athens just because there's a possibility that this all gets absorbed into like one giant city, so I'll need more stability in there. Be really nice to get units over to the New World. I'm going to get these guys set up to go over there now that London's recovering on its stability. You're on auto explore, so keep exploring, please. I don't know why it got turned off. I will buy this marble manufactory. I want that up as soon as possible. That's a major increase to my production. And then in 2 turns, I can start sending these guys across the ocean. And they'll start setting up some outposts for me. What's my influence? 1018. So I'm thinking about my options here. This +1 trader slot would be nice. I do lose production though. Gosh. I'm gonna think about that one. I'm not committed to doing that yet. Cool, 200 cash. Okay. We'll need a high furnace in here. We'll need a school, need a theater. Okay, that looks fine for now. Alright. Grab that discovery. Okay. Stop turning off auto explore. Now we could attach this. I don't have the specialist slots to make that worth it at the moment. So we're not going to do that quite yet. I do need more industry in the city, like I mentioned before. I'd prefer to keep the food, I think. Just buy that obsidian manufactory, the sooner the better. And the city's got a lot to do. Okay, there we go. So, these guys should be able to start strolling over this way now. And as far as techs, we will go for gunpowder warfare. The rocket cart used to be 3 saltpeter, is now just 2, which is a good change. 3 saltpeter was way too restrictive, considering the effect of the rocket cart. God, this is worse than yesterday. All right. Doing very well on Builder Stars. Aesthete Stars are going to be a little difficult to manage. Because remember, when you choose a culture with a given affinity, you get more era score for fulfilling those stars, but the stars are also harder to get. Now, it's not like I was a slouch on Influence, but I wasn't doing amazing on it either, right? Okay. I don't think I decided what Athens is going to be. Let's turn this on real quick. So what's adjacent? A ton of research quarters in here. And this will probably end up getting absorbed into Athens. So what that tells me is I'm going to want this science infrastructure. I could also go for the theater. And I can start building some of my own science districts too. I don't know if I need that. Much, yeah, a little more industry would be useful, honestly. Let's do that. Okay, that all looks fine. An agrarian era star. Now, obviously, you know, I like staying in eras for a pretty long time. At least against the AI, I find there isn't a ton of advantage in getting first culture pick. You can make pretty much any culture work in single player. And I think that's part of the fun of it, right? Have any grievances? No. Okay. Well, might just have to go for it here. Because it is about time I took these guys out of the game. Make sure we have most up-to-date units we can. Gunpowder Warfare is unlocking soon as well. So you can get from our discovery here. Okay, I will take it. I have a ton of money at the moment, thanks to the Taj Mahal in no small part. Which means I'm just going to buy all those out. Because this city's a little behind where I need it to be. So I'm going to use a little bit of gold to start catching it back up. By a little bit, I mean pretty much my entire stockpile. But kind of the same story up here, right? City's a little bit underdeveloped. I do not want to upgrade these arquebusiers yet. I lose indirect fire by doing that, and right now I still value that indirect fire. Longbows are pretty strong. Alright, so I'll just sit and wait for a turn. And Byblos. How many of these are there? Need 2 of 4 deposits. Okay. So let's look at the basic infrastructure. Let's get the taxation office for that extra money, and then we're going to keep building out some merchant quarters in here. Mobilize can have some good and bad consequences. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, the rest of these decisions kind of move me along the axes in ways that I don't want. So I'm going to risk a bad outcome here, because at least that outcome is more temporary. Get that grand tea house out. Okay, let's look at these. Where is a tea house? Right here. Okay, so the tooltip is wrong in terms of how much influence I'm actually generating from those. That makes a lot of sense. There are a lot of issues with the tooltips and showing what outputs you're actually going to get from the districts. Knights, that's fine. Let's go up here on high ground. Go ahead and just block reinforcements, capture the flag. Alright. So, could I take this city? Yes. Is it in a good spot? No. I'm just going to sack it and put another outpost on it. It doesn't really matter what it works on. Okay. These are not very good status effects. Alright, so I'm going to get the +3 combat strength on militia just to keep me along the part of the axis that I like. At least for this game. Could probably just auto battle this, but you never know when the AI is going to do something really dumb with your unit. There we go. Alright. And then let's get this over with. Has to be a surprise war, but it's fine. Okay, that's all fine. Oh, they have a reinforcement right there. Okay, so we'll have to do a little bit of a switcheroo with units in that direction. You go up on high ground. What unit is this? Oh, it's only a scout rider. Okay, then I'm not worried about it. Scout riders can come slam into me as much as they want, even if they are hitting my longbows. Okay, where's the... Okay, great swords are right there. We're gonna concentrate them. They're the biggest threat. I am definitely being lazy. I could use my units more efficiently here, but sometimes you just want battles to go fast, you know? This is a bug that still happens sometimes where you order units to attack and they just think. Thankfully, usually if you hit end turn, it seems to... yes, you do lose the attack, but it at least doesn't force you to reload your save like it used to. Okay, I can get saltpeter here. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, Landonia still. I am going to consider... Yeah. What I'm going to do is put an obelisk down here. I'll actually put it right here, and that'll connect up all these districts so everything is behind a wall. And the obelisk is going to go here because A, it's going to help with stability, and B, it's going to apply religious pressure so I gobble these up into my religion, hopefully. ones on the flag. Then hit these guys. Okay, that's that. And then the next turn we'll go after the other city, obviously. So I got quite a ways to go on my influence. Okay, these guys can go in the back here. They don't need to be on the front line. I'm going to use my back line of archers first and work my way up. Okay, get you in the city. Oops, wrong unit. Doesn't really matter which set I hit here. And archers. This might take 2 rounds, or 2 turns, I should say, depending on how suicidal their units are feeling. Because I can't hit all their units with most of my archers. Let's get up there. It's possible this unit dies, to be honest. I should have been a little bit more careful with him. Yeah, I can't actually hit anyone from there. A little bit focused on killing these guys. I'm gonna take him out. Makes it less likely he'll be able to get a rear attack on me. And a rear attack would pretty much be the end of these guys. Okay, nice. Gonna go for them. Works for me. All right, there we go. And next turn they'll surrender. Get an outpost down, and time to buy some stuff. Go ahead and get a harbor as well. I imagine, yeah, that area is blocked. Otherwise that cog would not have been sitting there that I killed earlier.
The written
Pretty
word
fast era so far. Okay. Now obviously we want these. Oh, they are going to go pillage my outpost. Okay, artistic expression. I don't need that. I basically use this civic to kind of move me in one direction or another, but I'm at the maximum at the moment that I need. So it's not really something I need to worry about. Give me both of those, thank you. It's gonna put me well over my city cap. So I can just absorb. I think I'm going to do that on a COD. That really hurts my stability, but that is okay. And over here, I'm just going to sack this. And put a new outpost down, and then when the time is right, we can attach that. Sure, you can trade luxuries with your non-existent cities. Just work on whatever, it doesn't matter. Actually, you know what, you can put your production into an obelisk, like, right there. You can help on that. And then really be focusing on money in the city rather than science. Let's get this money infrastructure. Get a playhouse for that influence. And we will want supply lines for that +1 city cap, so I'm going to grab that. Chartered companies is going to help with our gold output. Obviously, musketeers are good units, but I'm not in like a major conflict at the moment. And I'm probably not going to push for one until the next era. I think I can get the rest of these militarist stars by just farming neutral units over in this area of the map. Okay, they're going to attack me and then run away. Brilliant moves, AI. Truly brilliant. Okay, that attack will kill him. Alright. Well, goodbye, knights. How many more units do I need? Just 2 more. Should be easy enough. Now, something that's tempting here is attaching another territory. This one has a lot of districts. Okay, they're all ruins. So I don't need to worry. Well, actually, I think ruins have a negative stability penalty now. I don't remember. Something that's kind of tempting, though, is to attach another territory so I can build more grantee houses. Go ahead and buy that market. Let's just buy both of them. Then let's work on that infrastructure for a turn. And then I am going to attach right here. Losing a lot of food now. Let's get those. That'll help my food a bit. Do I have all the harbors I need? No. Or, yes, I do, but harbor in there is pretty useless. Just get a little bit more food. Just I have so much money to just buy things, which is very nice, honestly. This is pretty much a dead tile, so I'm going to go ahead and put the tea house right there. Alright. Those guys can go hang, and I'll start coming up this way. Okay, so full medieval army there, not worried about that. Halberdiers are pretty good against anything in the medieval, really. I actually do like the freedom of speech civic quite a bit. Some of the later civics can be more expensive, and no, they're not super impactful, but they can help you get the stars that you need. So getting them a little earlier and for lower cost is nice, and particularly with the Ming, you have the legacy trait that also reduces the cost of civics. So you can change civics a lot for pretty cheap. Not that it's necessary, it's just a nice little thing to have. Alright, I can finally move this guy. Now that there isn't a heat-seeking enemy army coming to find me. Okay. Let's get the fishery. Let's get the playhouse. Then we can get some of the science infrastructure. No, we have 741 industry in here. We're totally fine. Yeah, let's build science out this way. So start building some science quarters. All right. Plenty of space, and most science comes from adjacency on the research quarters. Seems fine. Might put a city here. Get all these resources up. And, you know what? Yeah, let's turn this into a city. I think this seems like an okay spot. Go ahead and get that grantee house. Actually, let's attach this. Get another tea house in either of those spots, but I think I want the Maker's Quarter first. Actually, yeah, I think let's do something like that. Get our industry online first, so I can produce things relatively efficiently, and then we'll decide where we're going from there. Oh, okay, I've already met them, right? So if you haven't met a player already, you can kind of just wander into their territory if you want. But I have already met that player, so. Okay, this should be easy. All looks good. Okay, brilliant AI added again. Truly their tactical genius on display. Oh, they have another unit. Okay, well, they attacked me, so I'm just gonna let them continue to attack me. Let's just get a lay of the land, see everything that's around. I do want to build Topkapi soon, but I want to keep building out these quarters here. Make sure that I'm on course to get as many stars as I can. Now I know there's a civic related to playhouses. I don't remember how many you need to have built or what the civic does. But I know there's one related to playhouses. Just finish that, finish that. You know, I have a ton of money to spend. You know, thanks to the Taj Mahal mostly. Why am I looking at research quarters here? Build a couple more of these. And I'm going to change that around. Not that it's relevant right now, but it might be in the future. I'm going to move the playhouse up for that extra influence. And over here, I don't have fishery yet. Let's buy that one. So a little low on food. You have that harbor coming, though. I should be okay. Also low on industry. Alright. So Republic Evolution. Neither of these are really particularly important. I'm already at a point where stability is becoming less of an issue because of manufactories. I have some commons quarters, like just a couple. I think I have more garrisons than commons quarters, specifically in Ladonia. I built a bunch of stuff to stabilize stability. But neither of those choices are going to be particularly impactful for me. Okay, there they are. Okay. I have to wait another turn. Let's get the Maker's Quarter online here. 26 there, that's pretty good. Buy that, buy that. Really nice thing about having money is that, yes, like technically it is less effective than just having straight production. Money is transferable between cities. Okay, I don't know this. This event. So anything that gives me a chance of triggering another narrative event is something I don't like. I don't like unknown outcomes. I'm sure there are, you know, there's an outcome or a set of outcomes that happens when you do these things, but I think knowing the biases of the devs here, kind of their political biases, I think pronounce is probably my best option. like profit is all, leave business free to manage their own affairs, or divert, hope enough of them obey. I don't know. These both sound like a high chance of triggering a negative outcome, and I have a ton of money, and this doesn't affect my alignment at all, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that one. There's no reason to risk a negative outcome. So about need another 20k influence roughly. Something like 9 turns with my current production. I didn't do the math on that. Really, it's just a rough estimate. Okay. Let's see if they attack me. Yeah, they do. This is going to be another city that I just burned down. Now, something I'm going to consider here. Oh, I can get a dye manufactory. Very nice. Yeah, we'll do it over here. Just buy that. I'm going to get a couple units in this city, just to kind of go around and put up outposts. Alright. Sure, why not? We can work on that. Okay, artistic ownership. This one... So, artist studio, I don't know. There's something that the devs really like about Commons Quarters. Like, there are a lot of effects that are affecting Commons Quarters in various positions. It's just they're all so marginal that it's not really viable to like just focus on Commons Quarters. You don't need so many Commons Quarters that they tend to have a major impact. Wait, where is it? Wait, which is the one I was looking at? Artistic ownership. So I tend to go for Academy of Arts because you're going to have way more research quarters than Commons Quarters, realistically. So let's get that in areas with a whole bunch of research quarters. Kind of preemptively build it over here. You know what, I could get another obelisk in here as well to help with the stability. Like, out in the middle of nowhere there is fine. So, research quarters in Harappa. And I think in Sus as well. Yeah, there are a couple. We'll add it into the queue. It's not as big of a priority, though. Go ahead and just burn that. I'm going to put you on Auto Explorer, so I don't want to micromanage you every turn. Alright. And over here. Pretty good mix of stuff, honestly. This is definitely not a highly focused city. So I know I haven't really focused on science at all this game. And although the French are very good, there's something about the French that I just don't like playing. I think they make the game a little too easy, and they're not particularly interesting of a culture. So I might pick someone else. Which means I do want to focus a little bit more on research. Because I'm not going to have any special bonuses to it. Okay, well, I'm not building any units in Sus, so that effect doesn't matter. Let's buy that harbor. There we go. Alright. Now post down here. Go ahead and get some more stuff online. There we go. Can I attach that, please? Thank you. So we'll make Beijing here a pretty big city overall. No, we'll finish the Maker's Quarter first. I still have a few turns before I go up to the next era, so I definitely want a 3-star aesthete stars. So I'll definitely attach this territory as well. So at least 4 territories in Beijing, which is not too bad. Just gonna keep buying this stuff out to make sure the city gets online pretty quickly. Now I have an option here of what I want to focus on, and I might do market quarters, honestly. There are a lot of luxuries in this city. I think that makes sense. So let's start getting a few markets. A lot of the luxuries are kind of inaccessible, really, but it's fine. I just want more money, as we all do, right? So let's get the money infrastructure in Londonia, because you know it is generating quite a bit here. I don't want to lose 25 stability, thank you. So the objective here is to claim all these here. Ah, that sucks. Little cliff right there is to claim like all these territories as fast as possible. Okay, so I have 2 Carracks here now, which is nice. And I should look at striking against yellow soon. Someone's polluting. The Persians. Oh, they're in the next era already. I do like the Persians. They're a decent culture. Not one I was like particularly looking at this game, I don't think. But I do like them. Right there's fine. A lot of food. Okay. Alright. Let's influence purchase over here. Then go ahead and attach. Get another grand tea house. There we go. Then we'll work on all that money stuff. Alright. I'm going to separate one of these units out to go claim this little island out here. And then everyone else is going to come up this way. Okay, so I can get the hardwood manufactory now. Or is it ebony they call it? Yeah. So let's get that back somewhere where I actually have a city. Then get that infrastructure in there too. I do need to think about Topkapi soon, which I know I've said a couple times at this point. Is there anywhere with like really low stability that would benefit a lot from it? So Athens would. Okay, guess we'll build it in Athens. I'm gonna concentrate on that. I don't want to be messing with it in the next era where it's going to block me from claiming a wonder that I want. See if we can get this down to 2 turns here. There we go. Yeah, so I need 1 turn on the SD Era Stars, so definitely going to wait for that. And we'll go up to the industrial. That seems fine there. Okay, so there's silk, which is a very good luxury. So silk is +2 industry on Maker's Quarters. It's better earlier in the game, but still useful throughout. Start on Mercantilism, I guess. I don't need siege cannons. Siege cannons is a tech I often skip. Alright. So we can choose a culture now. Let's take care of all these events first. Go for influence, just because I'm farthest on that axis. None of those are really going to matter for anything. None of those choices. Okay. Ebony, iron, harbor. That'll let me cross right there too, actually, onto my island. Alright, so let's think about who we want to take in the next era. Austro-Hungarians. Yeah, I don't really have any reason to pick them. I'm totally fine on stability with respect to the Opern House. I don't need any extra influence. You know, Evidence Bureau agents are fine, but there are better units available. The British can be fun. Colonial Office wouldn't get much use, but the Redcoats are really quite good. That's someone I'm going to pick if I just want to absolutely start steamrolling this continent here, so that's a possibility. Ethiopians. +5 science on garrison, huh? I don't have enough garrisons for that to be worth much. The Amba. If I'm not mistaken, this can be built on mountains. Yeah, it has to be placed on a mountain. So very defensive structure, because it increases the movement cost of hostile armies. Like I said at the start of this series, I'm not really familiar with the Africa nations at this point. Oromo cavalry. Yeah, this does not seem like a very good culture to me. Just initial impression. Garrisons become less and less important as the game goes on in terms of their defensive effect. French, we've talked about the French already. The Germans. I wonder if there's still a bug where these combat strength modifiers apply to land units as well. Gives a lot of combat strength bonuses to various things. Unit industry discount. U-boat, that's not very useful, but the coking works could provide a lot of industry. And, you know, like starting as the Harappans, I do have like sizable population numbers in most of my cities, so I do think that's an option. Could go for the Italians. I like the Alpini a lot. I feel like they have 1 less combat strength than they used to, but I might be misremembering something. But I don't think I really need the influence. And I don't need the stability they provide. Mexicans, food on all cities. Hacienda is good. Like the +1 food on tile producing food can be stacked really high, especially if you have harbors. So you can get a ton of population. And I do, okay. So I do have a civic here that, which one is it? Industrial production. That basically doubles your trader slots. Do you have a way to offset that though? Because I do want that bonus to my industry. No, I don't. Now, I could go all the way and go for plus 10% money. Okay, I'm going to do this. Go for that +1 trader slot. It's okay that I'm going to lose that plus 10% industry for now. It's not that big of a deal. There will be ways to get it back up later. And what that'll do is give me more slots that I can actually fill. Let's get a little more food in here. I just want to see what this looks like to see if it makes sense to perhaps pick the Mexicans, right? I think it might. There's some amount of sense in picking the Mexicans here. Russians, Russians are not good. I don't really have any cause to pick them, I don't think. Siamese are always excellent, or maybe not always, but there can be a lot of times where it's difficult to justify not picking the Siamese because they're so well balanced between sort of industry and money generation. I do have a lot of good spots for floating markets, and I would have some pretty, because I have Taj Mahal and a lot of pop, I would get some pretty incredible benefit out of the floating markets. Zulu, much more of a defensive culture. Impi, I mean, Impi are great if you don't have saltpeter, but I have plenty of saltpeter. The health regen is nice on the Zulu, though. I think I'm between the Siamese and the Mexicans. And you know what? This is because I've played the Siamese so much and I don't play the Mexicans very often. I'll probably play the Mexicans here. I'm gonna give myself a little save just in case I need to revert anything. And we'll take the Mexicans and go up to the next era.
The world gets
so
larger,
thanks everyone
cities
for
expand,
tuning in. Really
buildings reach
appreciate it.
higher,
And I'll see you next time for the
roads stretch
industrial.
longer.